Hello and welcome. One of the biggest, most common things that I am asked almost every single day is advice for puppies. What should I do with my puppies? Top tips for puppies. So in this video, I'm going to give you the 5 what I think are essential tips into raising the perfect dog. Some of the best tips that I personally do with every single puppy that I work with. And I really do think that this not only gives you results right now, but I genuinely think changes the course of your puppy's life forever. I really think that these tips that you're about to hear are about to change everything for you coming up. So tip number 1 is I want you to use your puppy's breakfast, lunch and dinner for training. Your puppy's food is such an incredibly valuable resource, and instead of just putting it down on the floor and letting your dog create a great association with the food bowl, I actually want you to use that food to bond and create a connection and learn how to communicate with your puppy. Doing this for 5-10 minutes a few times a day is going to show incredible results so fast. And the very first thing that I want you to teach, the very first, and this is genuinely the first and biggest tip that I can give you, is I want you to teach focus as the very first thing with the dog's breakfast, lunch and dinner. And this can be done from day 1. As soon as you get your puppy, you can start this. And the reason that you're going to teach focus first is because the first thing that you need to teach is how to communicate with your dog. You need to bridge the language barrier that's between us and our animals. And that is going to be through eye contact and having that window of opportunity to give your dog an instruction, a way to actually listen to you. And that is going to come through them being able to focus on you for long enough and actually be able to notice you. Because before you actually teach your dog how to look at you, how to focus on you, it's genuinely not gonna know how to, and you're just gonna be someone that's around, not really with the dog one-on-one. And just teaching the dog how to respond to its name is gonna just have a ripple effect on absolutely everything you do from this moment on. Now, I need to do an entire video just focused on focus. But just so you can have, just so you know how to get started, what you're gonna do is, again, with your breakfast, lunch and dinner, you're gonna just sit down with the dog on the floor, you're gonna say the dog's name, you're gonna make some kissy noises, and then as soon as the second that your dog or puppy looks at you in the eye, you are gonna mark and reward. You're gonna capture that moment where he looks at you in the eye so that he knows that that's exactly what we want. Over time, over the next 4 weeks, so remember this is between 8 and 12 weeks, what you're gonna do is slowly increase the distance, and you're actually gonna include some distractions. But that's a little bit later on. Right now, all you're gonna do is say the puppy's name, and the second that he looks at you, we're gonna create a reflex to the dog's name. Every single time you say his name, he's gonna look at you because he's gonna know that good things happen. His name is gonna mean something super positive, and that's gonna be your window of opportunity to give the dog an instruction a little bit later on. That's when you're going to be able to teach things. Focus, name means look at you, and that is how you get your dog's attention. Tip number 2 is to build up your puppy's toy and food drive. Now, the reason that this is so important is because when your puppy gets a little bit older, you're gonna find that the environment becomes your worst enemy. It's gonna be so distracting. And the only way to be able to prevent bad behaviors, to be able to get your puppy back, to be able to get that focus, that attention back on you, to just get your puppy to listen in public, you're gonna have to be able to motivate your puppy more than the environment. Now, this is really tricky because outside is very fun for your dog. But if you build up your puppy's food and toy drive, you are always gonna have something that is even better than the environment. I can promise you that, especially with your puppy's toy drive. If they really enjoy play and their drive for fetch and tug goes up, you can literally you can pretty much beat anything that the environment's gonna throw at you. And that includes squirrels, that includes other dogs, that includes fun people. You will be able to train your dog in all environments if your puppy's drive is high for food and toys. Now, the way that you're gonna build this up is by making these things very, very fun and interesting. So literally from 8 weeks old, from the very first night, because I think it's a great way to tire out the puppy for his first night, I'm gonna start engaging with a toy. I'm gonna start wiggling a fluffy toy around or a tug, and I'm gonna encourage my puppy to chase that toy, and I'm gonna make it interesting. Then I'm gonna hold him back, wiggle the toy, tease him a little bit, throw it 2 yards away. Now I'm teaching the foundations of fetch. He's gonna obviously run after that toy. I'm gonna run away to encourage my puppy to run towards me. And now I'm starting to teach him like retrievals. He's now fetching something, coming back. He's gonna come back to me to engage with me. I'm gonna offer a bit of resistance on the toy. Then I'm teaching him how to play tug. So I'm teaching him like 2 games in 1. And the best thing about this isn't just the fact that you're going to be able to motivate and train your dog in all environments. It's actually so fantastic for right now as well, because your puppy's going to get tired, and being able to drain your puppy's energy during 8 to 12 weeks is actually going to help you prevent bad behaviors from actually beginning in the first place at home. Things like mouthing really badly. You're gonna really take a step towards preventing that by just draining your puppy's energy through really good, like rewarding games, like fetch, like tug, and just engaging with a toy. So not only is this gonna help you motivate the dog in the future and gonna be the key to actually having a good dog, is you're actually gonna prevent your puppy from getting all the common bad behaviors that puppies get, because you're gonna be on top of your puppy's energy levels, and a tired dog is a good dog. So that is tip number 2. Tip number 3 is I want you to see 8 to 12 weeks as a 4-week block to teach obedience, to prepare your dog for its first walk. Now, this might sound daunting, it might sound intense, it might sound like a lot to do for a tiny little puppy, but I can assure you that this really isn't a lot, and it only needs to be 5 to 10 minutes at their meal times, like I said in tip 1, just using their own meals for training, and it only has to be 5-10 minutes at a time. We are talking about 30 minutes of training throughout a whole day. That really isn't a lot, and the amount of reward that you are going to get as an owner from this is going to be incredible. By your first walk, I want your puppy to know sit, down, stand, and heel, because we're going to be using the heel position for our lead walking. Now, really stick with me, because this is super easy to do. Using your puppy's meals, you are just going to lure the dog into these positions. Now, you need to check my other YouTube videos, because I have tutorials teaching these things in real detail to help you. But again, this is another thing that is going to help you avoid puppy problems like the mouthing, like all the common puppy problems, because it's more time engaging with your dog, bonding with your dog, and giving your dog a time where it can release energy in a good way and not a bad habit that you're going to have to try and correct at some point. Now remember, we're only talking 5-10 minutes at a time, a few times a day if possible. And if you do that at 12 weeks old, you will have a puppy that knows how to sit on command, down on command, and heel on command. These things are simple and you can do it. Tip number 4 is routine. Our puppies really thrive on having a routine, knowing what's coming next. It really helps them settle in, and things like toilet training really rely on routine. And that would be my tip, is to try and organize your day so it's the same for your puppy, especially in the first 4 weeks, every single day. Now, because of the other tips, part of our routine is going to be training with mealtime. So that's going to be at the same time every single day, and we're going to do similar things. So the puppy is going to learn that that is part of their day. That's a part of their day where they can get rid of a lot of energy. Again, when we're building up the puppy's drive for toys and food, that's another time that we want to make it kind of times where the puppy's got lots of excess energy, so we can put it into that building the drive. having a routine for everything is really gonna help your puppy thrive. Another place where routine is gonna really help you succeed is toilet training. Make it very specific times when the puppy goes out to toilet. So for me, when I'm toilet training a puppy, the puppy wakes up, goes for a wee, comes back in, we do some training, it eats, then it drinks, goes out for a wee. Now the puppy has a nap. When the puppy wakes up, he's gonna wanna go for a wee. So all of these times, if my puppy goes into the crate, every single time he comes out of the crate, he's gonna go straight for a wee. If he has a playtime with another dog or with me, he's gonna go straight out for a wee. Toilet training especially is like a numbers game. Your puppy is gonna go to the toilet a certain amount of times a day, and being able to get as many of those times outside as you possibly can is gonna help create a habit. It's gonna normalize going outside for your dog, and that is toilet training in a nutshell. Your puppy having a specific routine and things that it does almost hour to hour will really help your puppy settle in and learn how it should behave in your environment, because you have given it specific things to do at specific times, and you're catering for your dog's energy levels. You're making sure that that's always as low as possible so your puppy's able to be calm. Routine will really help your puppy thrive. Tip number 5 is focus. Now, I know I've already touched on this one in tip 1, but I really need you to understand that this is the single most important thing that you will ever teach your dog. And the reason I want to drill this home is because if you switch off of me right now and you go and watch any other dog trainer, the biggest dog trainers on, the most popular dog trainers on YouTube, you will see this one big mistake that they are all doing, is that they are in distracting environments and they are trying to teach new skills to a dog that doesn't know how to listen, and that is finding the environment stressful and it can't cope with the new information. Think about a child with an iPad, how just engrossly invested they are, how distracted, how just truly distracted they are by what's on their iPad. Now think about trying to teach that kid a tricky math equation while they're looking at that iPad. That is effectively exactly what we're doing. This child is not in a mental capacity to listen to any kind of instructions. It is what he's got in his hands is way too stimulating, way too distracting. And you have to be able to know that this is the same for our dogs. They have to learn the skill of knowing that there's a distraction and being able to actively ignore that, knowing that there's something super interesting going on, but they can still happily, and that's key, happily ignore whatever's going on and focus on you, because they have learned that is the best choice for them to make. That's how we are going to teach them. We are going to make them understand that ignoring something is in their best interest because it's such a good thing to do. Now, the way that you're going to teach this, I'm going to do a whole video dedicated to this, but in a nutshell, the way that you're going to teach this is we've talked earlier on in the first tip about how to get the dog's attention. You're going to keep on progressing and trying to increase the duration of eye contact that you're getting off of your puppy. And when you can get to about 10 seconds of solid eye contact where your puppy will almost stare at you, you need to start introducing distractions. The first distraction that I usually do is my hands are out either side of me and I will move one of them. The dog will most likely look at one of my hands because there's a treatment, it's interesting, it's moving, it's different. And the second that the puppy looks at this hand, I will say, nope, and that's it. There's no punishment. You don't have to be mean. It's just a simple communication of no, that's not what we want. I don't want you to look at my hand. This is moving, this is distracting. Now look away from that hand and look and focus on me. The second that they do that, you are going to make sure that they know that that was the best decision that they have ever made in their lives. You are going to give them a jackpot reward. You're going to give them the best treat that they enjoy, the best treat that you can possibly give them. You are going to give them an incredible amount of praise. You're going to act like they are a genius. They've just won the lottery for you. That's how excited I want you to be. They have to understand how good that choice was. and you are just going to slowly increase the level of distraction, always making sure that the distraction is high enough for them to look away and be distracted, but low enough for them to not be obsessed and low enough for them to be able to have the ability to actually look away from it. And you are just going to keep on upping that distraction until you get to the point where you are in the most distracting environment, the most difficult environment for your dog to be able to concentrate on you, and it's able to actively ignore whatever's going on. Now, usually the biggest distraction that you're gonna get is other dogs, and that is so achievable. If you could only understand, you do not need to wait for your dog to be a year and a half, 2, 3 years old to be able to get this level of training. I have this level of training with my puppies at pretty much as soon as I do it. As soon as I do my first ever walk, 12 weeks old, 13 weeks old, I will be able to get my puppy's attention away from another dog, away from anything, because I've already built up the foundations in the first 4 weeks, just doing 5 minutes here and there. It really, really is that simple. I'm so sorry that I've waffled on about focus too much, but I just need you to understand how important it is and how there's a huge void in dog training for focus right now, and we are going to stop that. We're going to break that, and we are going to make sure that every single person that watches this channel is going to be raving about focus. They're going to be talking about how it's the most important factor of dog training. It is the window of opportunity. It is the way that we communicate with our dogs. It's us teaching them how to listen to us. It's us learning how to listen and respond to them. It is everything. It really is that important. Now, I'm sorry that lasted so long. Thank you so much for sticking with me for all of this time. I really hope you enjoyed this video. Please make sure that you smash that subscribe button. Please help me build this community. You are part of this. I am not the canine coach. We are all our canine coaches, and that is what I really want to instill here is I want everybody to acquire this information and have the best dogs in the park. The best dogs that we all know should be the people watching this channel, because the information is there and I am giving you the skills to be able to get this. Help me build this community, send people here, share this message and relay this information as if it was your own. You can help prevent dogs from having behavioral problems just by helping people understand the tips that we're talking about in this video and that we talk about in other videos. Please be part of this community. Understand that you too are your canines coach, and I won't take any more of your time. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you in the next video. Hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, and drop a comment below. Thank you so much for watching. See you later.